Hi, and we're live.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
We're on a Sunday night for a change.
I know. How does it feel?
Good.
Yeah.
It always feels good to connect with you and talk a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, because it's so different, like, when you're so used to like the routine,
Yeah,
and to do it on a different day, then it has like a different vibe and feeling. So
yeah.
I
So
had to ask.
it's all good. It's all good. We have our eclipse happening today
Mm-hmm.
and at 15 degrees Pisces. And let's see, for you, in your time zone, it was around 11 a.m. And for me on the East Coast, 2 p.m., something like
Mm.
that. So we're sort of in the thralls of the Piscean lunar eclipse for a full moon. Um, that just means that the intensity of the full moon is magnified 10 times. So eclipses make it more intense. Um,
Did you see the moon, by the way?
I think I did last night. I think I
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet tonight.
Over here, it was like huge in the sky. It was like a super moon. It looked like a super moon where I'm at. So, but
Cool.
it had a little bit of a tint to it. So
Right,
I don't know if it was the blood moon, right?
right,
Yeah. So I did see it. It had like a tint, like a orangish color to it. So that was cool.
right. So, there's a lot of it lasts for a little over 5 hours, and um, in different teachings of astrology, I have heard different things. I was taught that with a lunar eclipse, however many hours it lasts converts to months. So,
Mm.
whatever is triggered in your chart by this eclipse has close to a 6 month effect. So, solar eclipses equate to years. So, the interesting part about this is we had a Pisces lunar eclipse in September of 2006. So, um, other planets were in other positions. So, there are differences. However, I think it is good to reflect on where you were in September of 2006, um, and see it's not going to be the same people or the same situations, but you're looking at subconscious patterns of energy, patterns
Mm.
of behavior, things that are dark. Pisces is the 12th house. That's our anxiety closet. It's where we stuff our fears. It's where we hide secrets. It's karma. And so, the fish symbol swimming opposite upstream represents duality, conscious, subconscious. Um, and so this would be an extremely spiritual type of energy and time for very, very deep reflection. So, the hardest part about that kind of energy is facing fears. The Buddhists would say, whatever you fear, face it to transmute that energy. I had a friend who was terrified of heights, and she did the tandem parachute jump out of a plane. And her whole reason, the rationale for that was to try to get over her fear of heights. So
Mm.
that kind of exercise, like what are you the most afraid of? Um, do it, confront it. That's what, and I would say, this is like a 6 month kind of window for dialing down in the very dark crevices of your subconscious, which you can reach through your dreams and meditation. And the thing that makes you the most uneasy, try to take it by the horns. So um, that is the most straightforward um, analysis of what we are in right now. We also have Mercury, which is in the mix here, and Mercury is the mind. So Mercury is sitting within 5 degrees of the sun, and Pisces can be delusional, it can be confusing, it can be seeing things with rose colored lenses. Mercury being there with the sun in Virgo, the sun, Mercury in Virgo, opposite the lunar eclipse in Pisces, um, that can make that struggle between, that's the alcoholic who's been on the wagon for a year, the Virgo, doing the healthy thing, and then the pressure of the Pisces eclipse challenging that decision, challenging that boundary. So whatever it is, your dragons, I call them, your fears, whatever you've been battling, that that's where you want to pinpoint your focus during this time. And Pisces is the psychic sponge. So one of the troublesome things in Pisces energy is their empathy for how other people feel can take them down personally. So it's important for Pisces to, again, assert boundaries, healthy boundaries. And that can be done here, with the Virgo influence and the opposition, because Virgo is all about your health, your nervous system, being to service to people, but also knowing that uh, earth kind of groundedness, where Pisces can be the space cadet, sort of out there in the ethers. That this opposition this is sort of a push me, pull me kind of energy, and because it is an eclipse, makes it more intense than just your normal full moon. Um, really, really rough tides in the ocean. I would think you might see more incidents of ocean disaster, oil rig issues, drowning issues, flooding issues. That's all Pisces. I did see in the news an Australian surfer who was attacked by a shark while he was surfing. It's very Piscean. The shark could very well be that dark part of the subconscious fear, you know, and we tend to stuff those things down, right? And that's only human nature. So I think this is a great opportunity that to not be afraid. Just I want to think of Star Trek, like Journey Where No Man Has Journeyed Before, whatever
Mm-hmm.
that little prologue is that they do, going where
Mm-hmm.
no man has gone before. This energy is kind of like push yourself to go into the dark crevices of your most feared corners of your subconscious, because this is an opportunity to regenerate that energy, to transmute it, to bring it to the light, because once you bring something out of the closet and it sees the light, it's suddenly not as fearful, like when you're
Would
little.
would you say that with that revelation under this eclipse moon, do you feel like that could be resolved like
Oh,
around this
yes.
time, or will that drag on for the next 4 to 6 months? You know,
So I think it depends on what it is, right?
mm,
Um, Probably how intense of a situation it is. But I think of when you're a little kid, I don't know if anybody can relate to this. My brothers always chided me with the boogeyman. You know, the boogeyman is in the closet, the boogeyman is under the bed. You know, that's what I mean about what's your boogeyman? Okay, so I'm going to do a little transparency here where my boogeyman of late and what's happening during this eclipse is that I've been very unhappy with my work and fearful that I'm too old to get hired or to start again or to try for something else. And it's been a battle in my mind to not feel that way, not let society dictate what they think about ageism or how age relates to what you're capable of doing. And
Mm.
so it's been fearful to put myself out there to try for other things. And I let you know, I'll let our viewers know, I landed a great new job that I start in a couple of weeks. Um, that is a fear that's been confronted and slayed. I have slayed a dragon because what society puts on you as a stereotype or a box, if you allow that, then that keeps you in your closet. You know, that keeps you in that subconscious stuck pattern where you don't try to break those um, chains or break what binds you emotionally. So it's very important to, push yourself. Um, where I'm going has a lot of opportunity for career growth. And my neighbor, who's a 50-year-old man, been divorced a couple of times. He's from another country, and he's always making statements like, "Oh, only in America," and, comparing himself. He's from Australia, and I was really excited when I got the offer letter and signed it, and I'm on my way to make a really positive transition. And the feeling that motivated that is if I only do have 10 years left to work, I want to make them really quality years. I'm not, in my 20s or 30s where I have plenty of time to explore. I
Mm.
really want to be in a good, healthy environment where I'm valued, I enjoy my work and the people I'm around. And where I've been
Mm.
has been very challenging because there's always been this darkness about what's your value and just instability and a boss who's very unpredictable and always walking on eggshells. That's not a healthy way to be. And when you have you know I think Bonnie Raitt had that song in the nick of time, you know something about when there's less time to waste the older you get. So that's been a big motivation for me, is not believing that I'm too old to do anything I don't want to do, or not let society dictate to me, oh, you're not going to get anywhere or whatever. So this career growth thing, there's a certification that I've always wanted to get. They're willing to pay for it, and I'm really excited about having that opportunity. And here's my 50-year-old male, somewhat male chauvinist neighbor, and he says to me, "You mean at your age you'd want to do that?" And here's what I said to him: "I'm only getting started. I am just getting started." So,
Mm.
Grandma Moses was like 82 years old before she started painting. Now her paintings are worth thousands of dollars or whatever. So that's a really uh, good life lesson for all of us to have, to not let the demons in your own
People
mind.
to judge you for who or you can or can't do, and not allow for them to get to you
Right.
about how limited that your choices can be. And I think that, like, a lot of times people, they care about what other people think so much, rather than like really going deep within themselves to really think about what's important to them. What is their truth,
Right. And
you
being
know?
authentic about it, not letting the not letting social mores or values um, project on you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
a big lesson for this, and if you want to stem it back to 2006 eclipse, the bottom line, regardless of the circumstance or the people, the bottom line is about building healthy self-esteem. You know, if a job or a relationship has robbed you of your self-esteem, we're the only people that can do, you're the only person that can nurture that within yourself. No one can give you that feeling of self-esteem. It's something we have to first face and look ourselves in the mirror, and that will explain a lot of things that have happened in our life and how we've allowed ourselves to be treated. And then, you know, when you start deciding that, you know, I'm going to set this healthy boundary, I'm not going to allow people to treat me that way, even if it means stepping off a cliff, not knowing where you're going to land. That's what builds and builds. And that's what I think a big lesson for a lot of us in metaphysics is, especially when you power through it in the face of being judged, like you said, or, you know, not letting people predicate to you what your spiritual belief should be, or, you know, what you should
Because
study.
everyone has their own journey. Everyone is here to learn like their own thing. And just because, like one person is going through a certain situation doesn't mean it applies to the other.
Right,
And because of this Pisces energy, I mean, I feel that um that's actually being felt even more. It's like, where's the boundary of absorbing other people's situations when, like, someone who comes from a place of knowing or understanding can really look at this from like a third person point of view and
right,
say, okay, well, this is the thing that's going on now. What can we do as a lesson that we can take away from this period of time, and what can we do about it? Like, are we going to how are we going to be better about the things that we didn't know from a previous time? So I think that's really nice, because sometimes when you have repeat energies, even from a long period, like 2006, it's
right,
almost like, a lot of time has passed, and Earth
right,
time.
right,
So what the heck happened since then and now?
right.
That's so
You get a
different.
lot to reflect on there. And, you know, eclipses throughout different cultures can mean different things. You know, you can get the whole drama of it's an omen, it's bad luck, it's not good for crops, it's when wars start. It is about reflection, transformation, rebirth. I think if you just boil down all the different belief systems, that common theme is about rebirth, you know, regeneration, because with every um, you know, so-called bad thing or whatever, an ending, it is the beginning of something. So that life, death, life cycle is um, is something that will never change. You know, that is an ongoing energy with our lives, and remembering that if you're on the downside of, you know, ending something, you're, you know, remembering that it's also the beginning of something, and you get to choose what direction it goes in, whether it's
Mhm.
positive or not. When we repeat the same pattern is when we end up in the same situation, different faces. And the other thing happening this weekend, yesterday, Uranus stationed retrograde. Uranus is, let's see, in Gemini at 1 degree. So that's pretty flaky energy. And so now it joins, it will be retrograde till February 2026, but it joins the other outer planets, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto, which are all now retrograde. Um, and I think Pluto goes direct late in the fall, but here for a while, we have those outer planets all retrograde. That can manifest in, delays or having the sense of things are not moving. I try to look at that as a um,
Yeah,
uh,
I need some breaks on time because time seems like it's going too fast.
right.
So
So retrograde motion is similar to eclipses in that it's about the dark side in ourself. It's about the subconscious mind. Um, I said it already, but it's worth saying again. Looking in the mirror, being very honest with ourselves. What do we fear? Getting down to the root of what is it? It's not that thing. It's not that you know, situation. Our response to it and what it's triggering in us is the root of the issue. And so, this is a really good opportunity to disrupt that pattern, start fresh, have more positive, outlooks and prospects. Um, so, ritual eclipses are opportunities to out of the subconscious to transmute things like anger, shame, grief, striving to find peace within ourselves. People are much more intuitive during this kind of energy. So, really honing in on your first voice when you're trying to make a decision and honoring it. Like, don't dismiss it. If it's something that comes at you weren't expecting, but it's a real guttural, resonant type of feeling that you get right at the beginning of whatever that question was you were answering or whatever it was, don't dismiss it. Really try to lure that in because that is your intuition, and your intuition will never steer you wrong. It's when we start second guessing ourselves and having doubt, that we detour into a loop-de-loop kind of path, maybe.
hmm
I will tell you some of the other, things to be doing now would be working with your crystals, ritual baths, writing, being near water of any kind helps bring that, peaceful feeling and release of negativity. Um, I can't stress enough about that feeling of resonance. And you can call it, a chakra center. You can call it your heart, gut, mind, whatever works for you. But I will tell you that 2 Sunday nights ago, when I just randomly pulled up this website of a company that I've kind of watched a long time, and saw a new job opening for something I love to do, which is research. And I went through, the process of tweaking my resume, making a cover letter, and it really excited me that this position came up because the company doesn't have a lot of turnover. They treat their people very well. And when I hit submit, I had this resonant feeling all through my core, and this voice just said, this is what I want. This is good. Right. So then, you know, the human part of your nature comes through, and the anxiety, and you're living your everyday life, and you're battling traffic, and you're, answering emails or doing or raising kids, whatever it is you're doing. And, always wondering, oh, are you going to hear from them? Oh, you're going to get an opportunity to have an interview. So right away they called, we want an interview. It was right going through Labor Day weekend. So we didn't get together until this past week. I was a nervous wreck. It's like, I hate interviewing. That's another fear that will make me put up with a crap situation to avoid that feeling, because I hate that feeling. And but you just, if it means enough to you, if you're miserable enough, you'll do something to change your situation. And I just kept talking to myself and reading about, interview things and what questions to ask, what questions to be prepared to answer. And when I met with it was three principals of this company, it was totally relaxed. I never felt butterflies or knots in my stomach. Again, I felt that very calm, peaceful kind of what I call a resonant feeling. I left there. I felt really good about it. We had very good rapport, but that ego, that human part was like, oh God, I've been through so much rejection. And, when you don't want to think you've got it because you've thought you've had it before and it gets pulled right out from under you, all these, monkey mind kinds of things.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I totally get it because I remember you saying in previous times where you feel like you got this one, right? And it seemed like it would like go through, but it wasn't. They were like, "Oh, well, we decided to
Go
like take
another
it
direction.
go in a different direction," right? That's the go-to.
I hate
But
that.
but to your point, when you felt the resonance, when you didn't feel
Right,
nervousness and it was like almost an inner assuredness that this felt right,
it's
then
work.
that is when you know that that is the right thing.
Right,
Because I felt the same way when I had that bank job. Like I put it in my resume to the bank. I was like, you know what? I can do all of this. This is
right,
nice. And it's like right here and it's remote, so I
right,
can do that. So I didn't get it the first time. They decided to go with someone else, but that person didn't work out. And so I was a better fit anyway. So
right,
she contacted me and I got the job. And so I had that same feeling. I was like, you know what? This sounds nice. I didn't hear from them for months, and then
right,
out of nowhere they just contacted me out of their desperation because they really needed someone. And so I think that there's some truth to that. Like when you really want something so hard and you almost kind of forcefully try to like go for it and
right,
stuff, um, the energy is off. We may not see it,
right,
but to your point, you were just casually looking. You weren't like frantically looking.
right,
And you took your time because you felt good about it.
right.
And I
It was
think,
something that
yeah,
just really was like, yeah, that's something I could do every day. That's really what I want to be doing.
yeah, because it's something that probably would make you happy.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is intuition, and we tend to dismiss our intuition, you
Mhm.
know. And so, anyway, the next day I wrote a thank you email. And I mean, these are all steps I don't normally take when I apply for a job. The cover letter, the thank you email. I mean, yeah. And right away, the director wrote me back within moments of my email saying, we really enjoyed talking to you. You'll be hearing from us soon. Well, what does that mean? And so
Yeah,
then
the soon it could be next week or a month from now.
I know it's like waiting for puppies to be born. One time I had a pregnant dog, and that waiting for the water to break. I guess it's like if you're having a baby too, that waiting for this birth or whatever. And so then the next day I got the offer letter, and so anyway, it's just really interesting what a different vibe that was compared to these months of applying for things and them not working out. That one place I did 3 or 4 interviews and an exam. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, the new techie interview.
and
But that goes to show you that that wasn't the right place because then everything else in that job would have been that way.
wait, right,
This one is like more organic. It
right.
feels that way. I mean, even though that it may be, you'll know more when
It's
you go into it.
5 minutes from where I live. And the first thing they said in the interview was, I don't care if you work remotely or not. You can come into the office or you can work at home. We don't care. So that
Mhm.
again makes it relaxed. It's none of this sort of political maneuvering, and it's out of a law firm. So I'm getting out from under that umbrella, which I've struggled to do for years. And recruiters would just see in my resume, oh, yeah, you work at law firms. They're like, yeah, but I'd like to get out of that. So I'm really
Mm-hmm.
happy. It's not a tremendous amount of money more. It is the same benefits, but I've been driving like 40 minutes every day to an office that makes me uncomfortable, and there's something to be said for your mental health. And I do attribute this sort of Piscean energy, the eclipse, as part of, what I'll remember, um, what happened with the September 2025 eclipse for me, um, that is falling in my fifth house, which the fifth house, um, love affairs, children, but speculation. And this was very speculative. So, we kind of pigeonhole different parts of the chart for certain things, but each part means so many more things too. So, um, then, I think another part of eclipse energy for us to all, you know, aspire to is just finding that calm balance. The life, death, life cycle in nature teaches us that there is a cycle to everything. So even if your life feels like, crap right now, um, it can't stay the same, right? Just like when you're riding high, you have to show that gratitude for it, because ultimately there's that cyclical energy to everything we do in life. And the more balance and calm we can get, no matter what life throws at us, I think that makes for happier times too. And sometimes it just feels a little scary when you don't know what what's going to come, and you just, whatever it is inside yourself that you call on to find that inner strength and inner wisdom. This is the period. This is a very spiritual period. It's an opportunity to learn patience, and I know everybody hates that word, but the more patient we can be with ourselves and other people, again, that brings that calm kind of nature. And the other thing that comes out of slaying our dragons is, a sense of confidence. And so I just think that the way society has groomed men and women in different generations, low self esteem is a common thread that we all have to address in our lives. Very few people are born with healthy, or they're born with healthy self esteem, but life then kind of peckers away at it. And so when you can accomplish something that, um, something simple, let me think here. My elderly neighbor told me that she was able to, um, what did she do? It was something, um, I think it was with her. She was given a used car by her niece, and it's a lot newer than her old car. And it had all these different computer elements and figuring out how to set the clock or do this. And she was going to call on her. She's like 81 years old. She was going to call on her neighbor to show her how to do that. She said, I took out that owner's manual and I read it and I figured it out. She goes, I did it like that. And it's, there's little things like that, little victories in our life. I tore up a windowsill not long ago. It had a bunch of wood rot in it. I thought it was like a little piece, and it ended up being like this big chunk of rot. And at first I was like, oh, I need to call somebody to fix that. And I started going online and looking, and
Are you sure it's just wood rot and not termites and stuff?
yeah.
Okay.
And so sure enough, went to the hardware store, got the product, fixed it, painted it. And that feeling of, anything you can do that you don't think you can do, if you'll just try, and it's not perfect. Yes, I should get a carpenter in there to replace the whole sill, but for
Mm.
now, you know, it's fixed. And,
Mhm.
you know, and I didn't pay anybody to do it. I paid $16 for a bucket of this fiberglass repair stuff. And
Nowadays, there's a lot of YouTube shorts. They'll tell you how to
I
do
I know, it's
it.
great. So that's another part of like be patient with yourself. If if there's something that you don't feel confident about trying, you know, this energy is about try. Try to make yourself push through your doubts, push through your fear of I can't do that, or like
You know what my big I probably can't do moment is? So, I was talking like I've always had like this long thing about remodeling homes. Like I love it.
yeah,
I used to watch HGTV all the time. I like how they repair the thing and upgrade it and turn down like gut out like an
yeah,
old bathroom and put a brand new bathroom up. I
right,
love that. I don't know if I can do it and to your point, like I'm at the age where like if I was in my younger years, like I would have a lot of time and energy to probably get a sledgehammer and do all
right,
that mess myself, but um I would like to do it, but I don't know. So I think that would be my fear. And plus, it's a costly thing to do. But
yeah.
I was thinking, like, for my retirement or something to do, like, in my old years, is to do remodeling projects. I don't know. I think I like it. I just don't know. So
Well, I mean, I think you could do anything you put your mind to.
yeah, it's time consuming.
And it would be starting off with small projects, build a
Hmm.
bookshelf, get yourself used to working with wood or hammer and nails on something small, build a birdhouse, start small and build up to more difficult things.
Yeah, I wanna remodel kitchens and bathrooms, and then I wanna do exterior, like, do extensions off of a house, and
Right.
then maybe do, like, flower beds and stuff, like, I want the whole, like, upgrade.
There's some great videos out there on YouTube that show those kinds of. There's one woman, she's doing it all herself. Um,
Yeah, I've seen them, but I don't know if I can do that, I think that's my "I don't know"
yeah. Well, I'm
moment.
here to say you could do it. If it was
Okay.
something you wanted to do and you put your mind to it, you could do it.
Well, that's the thing. I want to get like a beater house,
Right.
something that don't have like much
Fixer
hope,
upper.
a fixer upper, and then fix it up and see how far I can go. But I'm like, how much money am I going to invest into something like that? I don't know. But if the outcome would be like something nice, then I would be really proud of myself on how that turned out. And then I would know a little thing or two about how to fix certain things.
Have you seen those videos? They're usually um, a young woman in China out in the middle of the country, and she's got a baby on her back, and like, she had a baby young and no husband, and she takes some old rundown shack and renovates it, and uses bamboo and builds like mortar and brick stone ovens, and goes out and plants rice. Have you seen those videos?
No, well, I didn't see that one, but I've seen people who build stuff out of mud,
Yeah,
and do something
yeah,
amazing
yeah.
out of
Or
it. Yeah.
the in-ground things, where they just chip away in ground. It might take them a year, and they just keep building those underground lodges and stuff. I think
Mhm.
that's fascinating. You'd have to have the time
Yeah, that's the thing.
into
You
it.
would have to have time and money to be doing those projects.
Or there's some guy that has, it's like a bicycle that pulls some sort of camper, and he goes out in the woods in the winter, and he camps in this mobile box thing that he's built, and he's got his dog, and he's got the little flip down table and the little vent pipe for his frying pan to fry up his food, and I love watching those kinds of things.
Ah,
So
yeah. So
yeah,
yeah.
good time to declutter, cleanse your physical space, and that helps cleanse your mind. Um, so this is really about, discerning your patterns and being willing to let go of things that haven't served you, being willing to try things in a different way. Um, I'm just looking here to see if there's other things happening with the chart. Pluto is Pluto. hmm, So there's North Node conjunction to this moon, and that Sun and Moon opposite the lunar eclipse also would be opposite that North Node. North Node is the head of the dragon. That is things that we are fated to reach for, that are the hardest things for us to reach for. We tend to lay back into our South Node where things are familiar and we're really not pushed to grow or learn or do anything out of our comfort zone. So the North Node is playing into this eclipse energy by being huddled up there with the moon at the same degree, 18 degrees. And let's see, what else do we have? What is Mars doing? So Mars is in conjunct the moon. So that might be making attitude adjustments. Um, that so Mars is argumentative, and maybe you're having some kind of disagreement with someone, and the eclipse energy would trigger some sort of compromise. That's what inconjuncts do, is they make us look at things differently. um, it's about our perspective on things, which is sometimes how we come to a compromise, is we're willing to look at things from a different angle. That Piscean empathy, like walking in another person's shoes and not being judgmental about what you think they should do, or um, um, yeah, it's interesting about intuition because the monkey mind and the ego self will always have something to say. I call it the monkey mind. It'll just chatter away at you incessantly about things. And
Mm.
if you can get to that really still, quiet, like knowing voice, then you can guide yourself wherever you need to be, you know. And this is a really great energy to be trusting your intuition the most, or, tuning into it and following it. And I said before, I'll say it again, a little scary, but it's so rewarding when you get through to the other side and you've, you know, figured that program out, or, done some sort of car repair yourself, or, you know, um, um, the other thing I was going to say is Pisces and that spiritual aspect of it has to do with our faith. And sometimes getting through, darkness is about having the faith that you'll get to the light. You're in a dark place, and, what is it that makes you keep going forward? And it's something in our subconscious spiritual parts of our beings that we know at the end of darkness is the light. And that is again connected back to that cyclical nature of life. And this is the constant pattern of these days and the next few months. Eclipses trigger energy. So if there's been something that you've been procrastinating, um, eclipses hitting on certain parts of your chart, when they're at the same degree in a square or opposition, will will trigger it for you, you know, so you'll be more on the responsive end of it as opposed to a proactive sort of, you know, go after what it is you're trying to do. Um, let's see, what else do we have?
So the energy for today, and then also we have another, I think, a Virgo full moon at the end of the
Yeah,
month.
I think
So,
it's I think it's like the 21st. We
mhm.
have solar eclipse new moon on Sunday the 21st in Virgo. And so yes,
Now
September.
you were talking about the solar eclipse, and that equates to years, right? And that's on the 21st. Is that 21 years?
No, it equates to how many hours it lasts.
Oh, okay, hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
So say if it were a 5 hour eclipse, it would equate to 5 years.
Mm.
However, I have heard astrologers on different channels just say months for solar eclipses. And that's what I mean about, you know, I guess we all have different teachers and study,
Beliefs.
you know, but
Mhm.
for me, it was always the lunar eclipse equates to months, the solar eclipse equates to years. Unless it sits like right on a degree on one of your main planets and is really right, you know, right on a point, it's not going to be anything real significant. You know, I mean, it's an escalated energy, like 10 times the full moon. But as far as triggering an event, it would need to be within a degree or 2 degrees of some placement in your chart. And that's where um, so I have Chiron in Pisces. And so Chiron is a lot about that Sagittarian kind of energy, you know, spirituality, freedom, independence. So this whole like setting out to change genres, like I've been in law firms all my life. I'm going to an engineering firm. That's a pretty big change. You know, it's something I will always remember. It's something I have tried to do for a long time. I've been in enough law firms to know they're all the same, and going to another one doesn't change the pattern, you know, of the elitist kind of attitude that lawyers have.
No, it's definitely a different environment.
Yeah.
My cousin is a what do I want to call it? He's an engineer. Oh,
So this is like land development, building highways, you know,
okay.
redeveloping, you know, taking an old shopping center, redeveloping it into something else.
So something that I would like to probably take on, like those little projects.
Right. And
You know,
really,
you were talking about like the like a shopping mall being turned into like a housing. Um,
so one of the
thing.
projects this company just had a ribbon cutting ceremony on at the end of August was called Veterans Village. And it was a
Mm,
dilapidated piece of property where they built 50 mini apartments for homeless vets. So it's
yes.
very community connected, which I can really get behind that. They have a bring your dog to work day.
Oh.
And where I was walking through some of the offices, there were like dog beds here and there. It's like, these are my people. This is my tribe. Yeah.
That
So,
sounds so good. Yeah, because I was thinking like, because we had that big lottery, the $1.8 billion lottery. So
yeah.
I was already making plans. I was like, well, if I were to win that lottery, what would I do with it? And one of the things that I wanted to do was to have like a trust or like do like some sort of philanthropic thing for autism.
Yes.
So, like, the thing about autism is that, they have so many resources up until they're 18, but after they turn 18 into adults, like, there aren't that many things. And so, like, what about job opportunities? Because most times not all of them would get a job. Like, even though that there's resources, that will help them put the kids into like a job, but not all of them. Like, my son doesn't have a job yet. And so that would be one. And then the other thing is to have like a social outlet for autistic adults, a safe environment
Right.
for them, and also to build a community where they can live with each other,
Yeah.
um, and also be in that environment. And so it's kind of like what you say, like for veterans, building them a community, also having resources,
Right. Down on the
and
street.
yeah, stuff like that. So it's almost like humanitarian
Right.
things to do for the betterment of humankind, so to
Yeah.
speak. So
Pluto
yeah,
and
I
Aquarius.
wanted I wanted to do that. But yeah, we'll see.
Did you buy your ticket?
I did. I didn't get it this time, but I will. I'll be the winner of one of those.
Yeah. That's how we
I
have to.
I
I
have
will is the key there. Yeah.
yeah. So like I believe that this will come into fruition. So like first, I have to create like a plan, and I already have a plan in place. It's just it needs to be more detailed. But also I wanted to do like a very thorough kind of like reference check plus resume to weed out like all the legit like people that would be working in these positions. And
Right.
so yeah, because I want it to be a safe place for them. And I see too many times like in the school systems,
Right.
there's so many corrupt and bad people that are teaching kids, and
Yeah.
I don't want that. And these are adults, so I want someone who is credible, who checks out, because nobody's just gonna like get a job,
Isn't
and
like music and art very therapeutic for autistic?
yeah, for some, but they're very sensitive to sound and light. Um, I think it's different, but people who are not on the spectrum, like let's say they have cerebral palsy or some other like disorder, like there's going to be something for everyone
Yeah.
in that environment. And so yeah, I want to do like a garden, like a
Right.
community garden, and then somebody could do landscaping, someone can do like general maintenance, someone can do kitchen work,
Right.
and it's a community building effort, where like someone who is strong in a skill set can work on those
Right.
things. And then and it's like a really big idea, and I know that it can be done. It's just
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's got to take some good funding for that. So yeah, one day. Oh, she has cerebral palsy. I didn't know that.
I my lottery winnings will go towards a farm that certainly would have lots of branches of opportunity, but my passion is animal rescue, like getting the elephants and the tigers out of the circus, or, endangered birds, or, of course, dogs and cats and rabbits and goats. And, you know, I
The
just want to have,
gophers and stuff.
yeah, all those little gophers.
The misplaced animals can go to Animal Haven now.
Yes, yes, yes. I would like to have you know, I, I was, I've traveled a lot the last couple of days. Yesterday, I went up north and was at an estate. I did an auction up out in the country, and I was riding through a lot of country. And today, I went east and I went out to this um, brewery kind of farmers market thing. And it again, each day I've been out in the country and I'll see like land for sale, or see a place that looks like it's some kind of farm, like some broken down home or something. And it's like, I want to pursue that. That's where I'd like to be in my old age, is out on a farm somewhere. Yeah,
So you're gonna have acres of land
yeah,
somewhere.
somewhere,
Well, that sounds nice.
you know.
I had a friend, she had acres of land and she's a paramedic, but she also does animal rescue. It's like her and her husband, and she's country and stuff. So I think it's all like, anyways, like she always posts pictures. It's mostly horses
Yeah,
she would rescue.
yeah.
Um, and then there are like some other like animals and stuff like dogs that or like cats that were abandoned and stuff like that.
It's
And so,
terrible, these equestrian auctions.
hmm
They'll have these auctions before they send them to be put to death. And they're just like horrible condition, emaciated and abused. And it's just so
or,
sad.
yeah, or they get stuck in some wire or something, and they need like medical assistance, and I think some of them are like deformed or like some
Right.
because of whatever reason. Yeah, and that's what she does.
Then you see someone rescue them and rehabilitate them, and 6 months later, it looks like a totally different animal. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
I knew
different.
I knew a lady that used to, her and her dad would go to the horse auction and bring home the, sickest, most helpless one. And, they'd spend a lot of time getting them back into condition and taking
That's a
care of
lot of
them.
work.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta buy hay. They need to have the space. Then you need a barn.
And the fur, is it the furrier? The hoof doctor? The people that take care of their feet.
I don't know the name.
Yeah.
Podiatrist. Podiatrist.
Well, that's for humans. I think for horses, it's a furrier.
Oh,
I think.
I don't know.
Yeah. You see some really disturbing images online about abused animals that, just shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
Or with
Mm-hmm.
people either. I mean, there was a court case I watched on court TV about a woman. She was a paralegal in a law firm, and she had two grown children that lived far away from her that were adults. She had a 15-year-old son and like a 7-year-old son. I never quite caught where the father was. She was put on trial for the murder of her youngest son, who died at age 13. For like 5 years, she would lock him in a closet, put chains on the refrigerator so he couldn't eat, put him in the bathtub with ice cubes, make him eat hot sauce. I mean, just horrible images and abuse. And the brother, the older brother, was also convicted, even though, he was underage. They still brought him to trial and tried him as an adult because he also would do whatever the mother would tell him to do to the younger brother. So it was horrible. It was horrible. And the
What?
woman,
So did she say why she would do that? To what? For
she actually got on the stand and testified, and her whole shtick, which I think was lies, that she didn't realize, you know, that he had misbehaved, and this was her way of punishing him. But she didn't realize how emaciated he had gotten, and like he literally died of starvation. And she tried to play like she didn't realize it was that bad, and that,
So this kid went to school.
no, no, no. He was locked in his room or in a closet, completely, like, my neighbors didn't even know he existed. It was really, and then so when they convicted her, they convicted the older brother, and when they have like victim impact statements, her older adult children that lived in other states came and read statements against her, like saying that they had no idea that's how their brother, or it would have been a stepbrother, was being treated, and that the reason they had moved away is because she was crazy. And it was just unbelievable to watch her sit there like, I didn't do anything. What are you talking about? It was really unbelievable, the delusion she was under, or she was just evil and playing like it was a delusion, which is probably what it was. She's pure evil.
Oh man, I don't know why there's so many of them out there like that.
Right. Right.
And I don't know if some of the programming, like, because you'll see like murder mysteries and like all this, like, TV shows, and like, where do they come up with the ideas? I mean, you know what I mean?
I know. I'm going to
It's
see if I
just
can.
so much, because even on my phone, the news that I get is like killings, locking up kids, or leaving a kid on a bed while the parent goes off shopping and stuff,
So,
and
so
yeah,
let's mention him who died. His name is Timothy Ferguson. God bless Timothy Ferguson. So her name is Shonda Vander Ark. And this was a Michigan case. In 2024, Shonda Vander Ark was sentenced to life in prison without parole for the 2022 starvation death of her 15-year-old disabled son, Timothy Ferguson. Timothy had mental disabilities, weighed only 69 pounds at the time of his death. In addition to being starved, he was subjected to forms of torture, including being fed hot sauce and held in ice baths. So, and there, when I just Googled mother who starved her son, there's another one that came up here in Arizona, Elizabeth Arkbeck. She murdered her 6-year-old son, Deshaun Martinez. Here's another one in Michigan from 2025.
it's
Starved
really
a 2 year
common.
old son.
Hmm.
I mean, where, what, I don't understand these women. I don't understand
I've
this.
I've just noticed that the quality of parental care has gone down. Like, I don't know, like, where they come off of, like, and I think it's either because, like, they don't want to assume responsibility of being a
Right.
parent. Some of them, I don't know if they really want to be a parent, I don't know, but it just seems that more and more I'm seeing that they rather. I saw one guy, he had a altercation with the baby's mama about Pampers, and he put the baby on the road, got into his truck, and ran over the son, and he died.
It's
And I'm
just,
like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand where people go off. Like, it's okay to just like do stuff like that.
I don't either. And it just really makes you wonder about, like, if you get down to like frequencies of energy, right? And the vibrations between the ethers and us here on Earth and our own electromagnetic energy, are the people that go nuts like that, is that some kind of dysfunction in the magnetic field, like they that frequency makes something snap in their brain. Like, is it on that level, on that their electrical grid, and how we're responding to electromagnetic energy from beyond space?
Well, if that's the case, then we're in big trouble because AI is
Right.
taking over, and now we're becoming inorganic, and we're being like surrounded by technology and stuff that can alter our frequencies and stuff.
And
And
it's also fentanyl, like the synthetic drugs that they've pushed on people to become meth heads and pill poppers. And I mean, that alters their mental capacity as well. It's just unbelievable.
there was this short, I don't know where I saw it, but this crackhead lady, she called the police and she was like trying to rat on the neighbor. She's like, "Yeah, I came with the $20 trying to buy me some crack, and she didn't give me my crack rock." And then the police confronted the lady. She was like, "Sir, I don't know what this lady's talking about. Like, she's talking about like the neighbor over here. They used to sell, but I can tell you that I don't do anything like that. I'm a prostitute."
Ah!
It was like a nonchalant people who were
Right,
doing the bad things were calling on the cops for things. I was like,
right,
what the heck? Like everybody's, and it's okay. It's okay in,
right.
in that neighborhood.
I see those shorts sometimes in the way that police officers handle people, and I think they probably see some of the damnedest things.
Oh yeah, like it's crazy, like the amount of stuff that you don't see, like being aired or whatnot, and it's just weird. It's weird. I don't
It
know.
is. And is it because we have more immediate access that it seems like it's escalated? Or has it always been this way, but we haven't had the access to hear and see about it? I feel
I
like
I
something's
think it's a
happened.
little bit, just a little, because like I think that even when we didn't have technology, there was a lot of bad stuff going on then,
Right.
but now that we have access to broadcasting, like on like different outlets, it's easier to get the information across. Um, yeah, I think it's always been there, but it's even more because now it's a known.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, let's do some cards. And I pulled out your tarot deck that you created, Tarot Visions. And can people still get this? Is it still available on your website?
Yes, they can. I have two copies left, guys. So if
All
you guys
right.
want it, I only have two.
Well, there's really cool images here, so I was going to use these tonight.
Okay, well, thank you. And then I have brought out Love and Tragedy Oracle.
Love and tragedy.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So we'll find out.
For a Pisces lunar eclipse. September is eclipse month.
I know. Like, this is a heavy month. Oh,
I have the Hermit. It says solitude, thinking, soul searching.
okay. And then I have Self Sabotage. And it says, we can sometimes cause our own pain or inflict it upon ourselves and others that we want to push away, leaving ourselves vulnerable to rejection and abandonment. thus pulling some of our deepest insecurities of a cycle of self sabotaging behavior.
Yeah, that's facing the demons and the dragons. And
So, Aries, are you going deep, thinking about how you could have self sabotaged yourself in a way?
being a little reclusive, maybe.
Seeing the light on the little shadowy self that you have.
So Neptune rules Pisces, and Neptune is currently at 1 degrees of Pisces. So that really lines up with, you know, Aries. I mean, yeah, so Neptune and Aries. Um, that really lines up with being more inward focused as opposed to
Outward.
that compulsive Mars sort of energy of Aries.
Mm-hmm.
Might be more subdued this month.
That's actually pretty deep because Aries, most times they don't take the time to do reflection.
Right.
It's always like go, go, go,
Right.
or wanting to just hurry up and do stuff.
And this is definitely more spiritual work for Aries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's like really for everyone this time around.
Yeah.
All right, so next we have Taurus. Hmm.
I have resilience, courage, test of faith, boundaries, 9 of Wands.
And I have romance.
These,
And
these two men in the cards look similar to each other.
yeah, maybe it's a guy with curly hair. So it says he looked at her just then as the morning sun was cascading over her form. As she laid near him, he sat up and gently took her hand and kissed it. A simple gesture that in that moment spoke a million emotions without a single word spoken. Wow,
Wow.
that's romantic.
Yes.
But with the Nine of Wands, I mean, they're about what? It's just maybe the person is married, Taurus, and you.
Resilience,
Yeah.
courage, test of faith, and boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Right. You probably have to do whatever it takes to put some
So,
boundaries there.
yeah, Uranus just left Taurus. So, Taurus might have gone through kind of an energy shift here with Uranus leaving Taurus going into Gemini. That's a much less stable energy. Uranus in Gemini is really chaotic.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and check out Gemini then.
Progress, expansion, overseas opportunities, the 3 of Wands.
And I have guarded.
It looks like Xena, the warrior princess.
It says walls of defense is the meaning of this card. They may be dealing with something personal that leaves them guarded, cautious, and feeling the need to retract and keep themselves safe. We all feel this way at some time in our lives, be it from old fears or past hurts that may have impacted us in the present. So Gemini got a wall up about maybe moving forward. Like maybe there's some fears for Gemini to take a
And
shot.
this reflection in the water makes me think of the subconscious mind, looking deeper, Gemini, in the reflection.
Mm, mm.
Mind, body, spirit. What haven't you fed lately, Gemini? Mind, body, or spirit?
Maybe a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see your 3 arrows too.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts.
So next we have Cancer.
Cancer. We have Jupiter in Cancer right now.
Oh, look how fitting. I have home.
Oh. So this says feeling stuck, restricted, victim, Eight of Swords.
So what? Staying home. You feel like home to someone cozy, warm, and close. They feel you are someone they can see themselves with every day in an everyday fashion. Oh.
So Jupiter in Cancer right now is making a very positive trine to this lunar eclipse. So
Mm-hmm.
this is emotional gifts. This could be the gift of a trip of some sort. It could be a gift of something to enhance the home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, I see here a throw blanket with a cup of coffee and a book.
yeah.
Could be a cozy cabin.
And the Eight of Swords can also just be a lot of um, mental energy, pent up energy. The binding, bound hands here makes me think it's inner anxiety.
Hmm. I mean, there's no place like home. So, like, if Cancer's feeling that anxiety, then I feel like they would feel better to be in a place that feels cozy and warm.
So I have a Cancer moon, and I canceled my trip to the beach this week. I was going to go down Wednesday, come back Saturday, made the reservation back in June,
Mm.
taking some vacation days before I leave because they don't pay you for unused vacation. Really looking forward to it. Had the dogs lined up to go to camp. Really looking forward to it. Making plans for what I wanted to do when I got there. Um, and this weekend, I just really started thinking about it and looking at the forecast. It's going to rain all week, and it's expensive to board the dogs and go to a hotel for a couple of days, and food and gas, and money's not great right now. And I just, I look around my home and I'm like, I need to do yard work and housework. And anyway, last night I canceled my reservation.
Okay, well, I mean, that's okay. Home is the best.
I'm having a staycation and
Uh,
hopefully, get some projects done.
mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's what I'm doing. I
And
am.
I just didn't want to spend that money to go sit in the rain. Like this past week was beautiful down in the Outer Banks. That's where I was going to go.
Mm-hmm,
And,
mm-hmm.
but this whole next week it's like rain. And I was like, the whole point was to go,
To relax and feel
sit
good.
on the beach and have some sun. And so anyway, I canceled it. I just bought tires and brakes for my car. Had a lot of big expenses lately, and I was like, I do not need to do this. So I'm being responsible. I'm being the responsible Cancerian homebody.
And you know what? There is nothing wrong with that. Um, I don't know. I think I don't have Cancer, but I'm a Capricorn, and I
Yes.
can take on some Cancerian traits, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because I like to stay home.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Uh,
All right, Leo, that's my
mhm.
son. says new beginnings, abundance, security, Ace of Pentacles. I will
Mm,
claim that.
yeah, and then I have let go.
Let go.
And it says, learn to try and let go so things can happen on their own.
I love it.
Yeah, when we try to take over and not let things happen naturally, we could essentially be altering the events that could unfold naturally, as well as missing very important moments and blessings we only experience once with someone. So just let go. And then when you did, um, you got a pentacle.
Right. And Venus is in Leo right now. So that is about love and money.
Mm-hmm. That's
I
nice.
like that. I like that. I needed to hear that. Thank you, God. I
Mm-hmm.
needed to hear that. New beginnings, abundance, security. Yeah. Yeah. I'll take it. I really
The
like the
next,
backs of these cards too. I like the backs of those.
well, thank you. Hmm. So for Virgo, I have magnetic pull.
Oh, this says karmic justice, truth, law, life lessons, justice.
Hmm. So let's see. It says she couldn't resist him. It was as if his energy was pulling her in. Every fiber of her being was drawn to him, and there was no escape. She belonged to him. Her vibrations came the moment his body called. And it says, "Help us against the strong pull to each other, drawn to each other in a way that others cannot touch or fathom. Deep connection on a totally different scale." Wow, that's pretty intense, Virgo.
So this has got the scales, a sword. Is that a snake at her feet?
Yes.
Wow.
So if if there was a strong magnetic pull towards a particular person or situation, then there was karmic justice. Um,
And right now we have Mercury and the Sun in Virgo. So a lot of Virgo vibes with our current placements.
mm. Well, I know I'm being a busy bee over here, just like making my list and
Yeah.
checking it twice. Interesting.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really feel like it's very similar to what you're talking about, like have faith
Yeah. Deep.
and just, like karma will take care of itself.
Yeah.
And so all is well.
And Virgo is very spiritual, that's the angel or maiden type symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Libra.
Oh, I have
Oh,
met you.
this is nice. New ideas, plans, victory, success, truth. The Ace of Swords.
So the truth is that hearts can heal and love can restore when both parties want to put it in effort. This card symbolizes that work is in progress to mending something that was once tested.
And Mars is in Libra right now. So,
Yeah, so Libra, if you were in a situation like maybe with a person or a situation, like things are working, it'll turn out for the better. Especially if there was like a breakup or an argument or separation of some sort.
yeah, Mars in Libra is, diplomatic, trying to find peace with those. disagreements or rough edges.
Mhm.
And the ace, that's a gift from the universe. That's some sort of divine power.
Yeah, so maybe a heart-to-heart conversation with a particular person, and then you guys. Oh, I think you said it earlier, like having an not ultimatum, but like coming to a consensus after an altercation or a confrontation or argument. Like
Yeah.
I forgot what the exact words that you had said, but it was something like that. Um, but there was peace at the end of it. It was just a rocky
Yes.
start. Yeah.
Yes. That cyclical nature, life, death, life cycle, right?
Yes. So next we have Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Ooh. Well, it says in love with someone else.
Oh, this
I know,
is
right?
choices, fantasy, illusion, and options. Seven of
Oh my
Cups.
God. So it says feelings for another simmer strong within their heart for someone else. They are in love with another. Hmm. So Scorpio, either you or someone else is in love with someone else. There's options.
Yes, there's plenty of fish in the sea. I know nobody likes to hear that when they have their heart set on somebody, but it is the truth that there are more than one soulmate for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There's many in one lifetime. So that might be a hard thing.
Yeah,
Um, but I really feel like you can go in different ways. So it really depends on the situation. Yeah.
yeah, this has a lot of look, there's a dragon, there's a cobra, all kinds of cups here. Light.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, his expression on his face. Oh, there's a woman behind him too.
So the idea with that was that I kind of put like a gay guy there, or someone who could have been like, that goes that way. And
Okay.
then there's a woman who has her eye on him, like she's always been interested in him, but he's actually interested in someone else.
Okay.
That's what that is, and that's where this illusion, this fantasy, the options,
Okay.
it can actually go in other directions, or maybe he has his eye on another woman.
And there's like a kingdom behind them of some sort. It looks like a very spiritual kind of ethereal background.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very fantasy like.
yeah, I like it.
Thank you. That deck took me 3 years to make.
I love it.
Yeah, it took a long time. So next we have your Sagittarius.
This says successful, wealthy, stability, loyal, King of Pentacles.
And I have new beginnings.
Oh, nice, Sag.
Yeah.
Love.
And
New.
it says something is about to change, good or bad. Something is coming. This card can also reflect an intention that was cast to bring forth something into existence. So it could be a birth of something, carrying something coming to life, change in a relationship, something coming to light, a new feeling that has sparked and stirred feelings. Hmm. Something solid, that's for sure. It's not like some fantasy thing.
So tell me about this image.
So the King of Pentacles, like for this particular gentleman, like he's well off. Like he has his watch, he's wearing a freaking suit, like he's doing really well. The problem with this guy is that he has his hands crossed. Like what why is he holding back?
Right.
But he's looking at a distance, so he's being reserved at the same time. So, um, so in this case, like, yeah, he's successful, wealthy, he's stable, and he's loyal, keeping his hands to himself and not like
Right.
doing this. So, yeah, he knows he's got it going on.
Bit of a workaholic. He looks like a young James Bond.
Mm, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but, like well polished,
Yeah.
and he knows he looks good.
Yeah.
He's choosing to like stick to himself, for whatever reason, either like, yeah, in whatever situation that he's in.
Cool.
Yeah. So next we have your Capricorn.
So this says mother, sensual, deep love, committed, the Empress.
Oh, okay. Oh, and I have romance.
Oh,
Hmm.
nice.
Yeah. He looked at her just then as the morning sun was cascading over her form. As she laid near him, he sat up and gently took her hand and kissed it, a simple gesture that in that moment spoke a million emotions without a single word spoken. Like Empress is making babies. Ah, right, Cappy. It's just like one of those things where you just have a look and you're like, like you got pregnant after that.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever had that happen.
Well.
Nice
Like,
energy.
have you seen like those? You would come across it in a short or like in a reel of some sort, but it's of like romance fandom things, and they come up with this god awful like over like voiceover on the
Yes.
characters and stuff, and it's so
Yes.
like, oh my god, I get hooked.
They're like little mini, the billionaire that takes out the maid, or, you know, the mean evil bride who locks the true love in the closet, or intercepts the letter, or, some kind of,
Yeah, the stepmom,
yeah.
who doesn't treat the daughter well or something, and or a prince, like the lady meets up, like shacks up with the prince
Yeah.
and didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Had to sign a non-disclosure.
I know.
I get hooked, and then I get pissed because they want you to pay for those little credits and stuff. But if
Right.
you watch enough like ads, you can work up, to finish off the episode. But yeah, anyway.
Right. Right.
I get sucked. I one time I bought into it and I was like, oh my god! I finished one. I was like, okay, I this is too addicting. Like,
They have one, it's like drama.com or something, and it's some horrendous story about how a daughter treats the mother who paid for everything, and then the mother cancels all the cards, or, some, or the man who overhears his son say, I'm going to put him in the nursing home and sell his home. And, just,
some really off the wall stuff. Like this is over the top. Like who does that? Energy.
I don't know.
Anyways, so for Aquarius, I have playing the field.
I have delayed news, planning, talkative, inquisitive, the Page of Swords.
Okay, well, and it says This card signifies someone who is untamed and never wants to be tied down. Possibly someone who is a player, but more than not. It's a person who doesn't wish to be tied down or be in a committed relationship. So, wow.
So
Aquarius.
it's, yeah, Aquarians can very much be that way.
Hmm. Or it could be the other person. It really depends on how
Yeah.
it goes.
This feels like a very social, chatty kind of energy for Aquarius.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They do like their independence and freedom.
Mm-hmm. But do you see that? I don't know. What is that? Horns? Looks like this guy got horns.
These people are eating pizza.
Yeah, they're having a social event.
Yeah. This is what I would call a za day.
A what day?
Za. I worked in an office, pizza, and we would order pizza.
Oh,
It's a za day.
that must be a young thing. What,
It was a
millennial?
long time ago.
Oh, a long time ago? Really?
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
A za day. We probably made it up.
Oh, okay, got it.
It's probably some little
All right.
tweet between us.
Yeah.
That
Well,
lady I worked with she was a hoot. Um, she had married a military man and had a son, and they lived in Japan forever. He was abusive. They divorced. She raised her son alone, worked like 30 years, and then met this really wonderful man who had been a professional baseball player, moved her from Virginia to Florida. She worked as an executive chef assistant at like the Palms, this really fancy place where she would see Rod Stewart and the Prince of Egypt and all these characters. And I ran into her about 2 years ago at a local gas station. I was like, "Do you still live in Florida?" And she goes, "No, no, no, that didn't work. I'm living with my," and she was like 83 at this point. She's like, "I'm living with my old history teacher." And she was always a hoot, very hippie, very,
out there
yeah,
with her history teacher.
yeah, yeah. Like she was like 80, and
So how old is the history teacher? Like, come
I
on.
know, I know. Well, she
100?
was giggling, I know. And she always, I mean, she didn't look her age. She didn't act her age.
Uh,
And the way she giggled, it was kind of funny. But
yeah.
it just goes to show you, I mean, you can have many, 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 many layers of your life.
Mm. Yeah, there's like the ups and downs, like you said. Yeah.
So we're on Pisces.
And I have a magnetic pull.
This says fear, anxiety, unhappy, stress, migraines, Nine of Swords.
hmm So, I mean, this one was talking about like she couldn't resist him. It was as if energy was pulling her in, and every fiber of her being was drawn to him, and there was no escape. She belonged to him. Her vibrations came the moment his body called.
Wow.
And Pisces, you're stressed about this magnetic pull.
Yeah.
Mm. It could be you to someone or someone that you love to someone else.
Well, this is overthinking too, just a lot of mental energy.
Mm. Yeah, because do you see the difference between like that dark and the light?
Yeah,
And then the light is coming up off of it. It looks like a ghost.
right. And this is sort of like sitting alone, wringing their hands.
Yeah, looking at the cell phone or not, or just like holding on to it. Like, when are you calling me?
How do I respond to that text message?
Yeah.
Do I respond? Huh.
Don't don't. Like, that's some deep stuff, like,
It's deep energy here, I'm telling you. And
yeah.
so tell the viewers how they can find these cards to buy. These are lovely cards.
Oh yeah, well they can go to the website scorpiomoonintuition.com, or you can go to Etsy, which is scorpiomoonintuition.etsy.com.
Cool.
Two left, guys. Just two left. And then I don't know when I will get another batch because they come from overseas and there's tariff tax these days. And yeah, they're pricey. That's why
I'm,
they're limited edition.
I'm glad I got mine when I did. I think I've had mine a year or more, right?
These came out in 2022. So about 3 years ago, I think.
I think it took me about a year to get my act together to order them.
Didn't I just send it to you? Or no?
No, I went on the website and ordered them.
Oh.
I
Oh,
try to support my local Scorpio moon.
oh well, thank you. Like, 'cause I'm like, I could have like just sent you a copy. I think. I don't remember.
Let's see.
Yeah.
These other ones. Do you still have these?
I think I only have one of those.
Yeah, these are cool too. They're like um,
Mm-hmm.
words.
Yeah. Those are good because you don't have to think about like the divisions that come to you. It's what it is.
Yeah.
And you can interpret it in whatever way. Like if
Do
the word
you
is upright or upside down.
do you remember angel cards? That's what they remind me of. So, do you all remember these little narrow cards? They're called angel cards, and they have, like
Oh yeah,
words.
yeah, yeah. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are neat. You should bring that out the next time.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they come with a little picture.
Yeah. Little angel.
Uh-huh.
I've actually had several um, copies of these over the years. I've given them away and get them again, and
Hmm.
they're nice messages.
Yeah, you should bring that out next time. I think those are nice.
I keep them right here on my desk.
Oh well, dang. I think that's the first I've seen them.
The first ones that fell out were gratitude, clarity, and expectancy.
So how would you interpret the expectancy?
The lunar eclipse bringing in opportunity and beyond your expectations. Like, we sell ourselves short and should be expecting better than what we anticipate. And then I don't know if you remember, there were blank ones, and I filled in. I don't know if you can see this, but I filled in one that says breathe.
Mm.
Yeah, eclipses are, again, throughout different cultures, bring omens and bring action and change. And I know people get all nervous about that word, but it is the only thing permanent in our life. So the more we can go with the flow and keep steady and that inner calmness, The happier we are in life. We're not all shook up all the time or trying to hold on to things that aren't meant for us to hold on to, stuff like that.
I think that sounds good.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, got all of our little toys and tools out.
So
Yeah,
I think so did you see like when the 21st, when that day is?
it's a Sunday.
Oh, it is? So do you want to do
Yeah,
Sunday again? Okay.
I'm fine with that. Are you good with that?
Yeah, my energy is better. It's because I know sometimes on the Friday I do get tired.
The 21st,
Hmm.
Virgo new moon solar eclipse. I haven't looked into that too much. So
Well,
we're
this one is a doozy. This one is a lot to kind of take in. But I guess between now and then, I'm assuming that whatever that we have, like, looked into or come to some sort of conclusion with, that will probably
let's see.
carry on until the new moon.
Oppositions to Saturn are always fun. Opposition to Neptune. But a couple of nice trines, a trine to Uranus, a trine to Pluto. It says UN International Day of Peace. Let's see, between then and then, we don't really have any changing signs. Yeah, I will have been what? Let's see, the 21st. Oh, that is the night before I start my new job.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, then we're gonna have to do it early then.
Well,
Because you're gonna have to prepare for the big day.
I
You have to be focused.
feel really good about it all. I really did put myself through the whole trying to figure out if I was going to go travel this week or not. But I've taken a couple of big trips this summer, and I wasn't excited about trying to get ready, and I just thought, I'm tired. I think and then I kept thinking, to drive down there in the rain, to be in the rain, and
Yeah, you can do that at home.
yeah. So,
Just because you make a plan and because, for whatever reason, don't mean you have to go through it.
that's right. In June, it was a different outlook than it is now. I made
Mhm.
the plan early to get, like I wanted a room right on the water. And so sometimes you have to plan ahead to get that availability. But yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to just having days off to and I don't know what I'll get into. I think I'm going to start some seeds for a fall planting and um, I need to deep clean my kitchen, like the cabinets and the refrigerator and around the baseboards. I need to do a deep clean.
I know how that is. I told my son, I said, hey, if you make it big, I'm going to tell you what I want. He says, what? I said, I want that little vacuum robot. Can you please get me one? I'm tired of cleaning the freaking kitchen floor because it has like, food particles. Nobody looks down there. I'm always cleaning it up. And,
I know.
the cat and the dog, the hairs always get like in the crevices.
I,
And I'm like, what in the world? And it's always in front of the sink.
yeah,
But
mine.
I don't know if it's because Luna sits there while I'm washing dishes. I don't know, but yeah, I want one. So I feel you. because I need to do the same thing. I just don't have time.
Yeah. It's it's focus. It's hard to spend time doing things you don't really want to do.
Yeah, because you would have to do it eventually.
Yeah.
I know.
I have really old cabinets, and I've been looking online about products that sort of like degrease them and try to bring, you know, some kind of finish back to them. I think it was like 10 years ago I restained them, and it just,
You know what? You just invite me over. I'm gonna make a YouTube video of a makeover, and I'm
okay.
gonna come in there with a sledgehammer and just tear it all down. And
That's
you
funny.
get brand new cabinets and
Oh,
a new
God.
kitchen with appliances. And then, what depending on what you want on the kitchen floor, I could do it too. And then you'll have like the latest like chandelier lighting system in the kitchen.
This is what the lottery money will do, right?
Well, yeah, I would have to have some kind of like financial backing to do it, but I would do it. Like that would be my solution is just to tear it all down and go with some new stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and that would feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make me happy. I don't know about you, but
I um I had a realtor tell me one time that if you can renovate within your existing walls, it's better money spent than like adding on. Like my neighbor, our floor plans were similar, but they did this big add on to the back of their home, which expanded their kitchen. So when I was looking at doing something, that's how the conversation came up. And this house is old, so it had like the traditional kitchen with like a breakfast nook and then a wall and a door into a dining room. So I had the wall taken out to make it opened up. I didn't expand out. I just took a
just
wall,
open it up. Yeah.
interior wall out. And I looked into cabinets, but I really liked my cabinets. And the new ones just aren't as well made. So I took them all down and I refinished them. And these Amish people built a island, and they matched the doors to the island to these old cabinets perfectly. They
Oh, I
they
think I
did really good
remember
work.
you saying something about that.
And we were almost finished everything, um, and waiting on this island, to put this island in. It was like 8 months. My kitchen was like a campground forever. I had sawhorses, and I would sand on doors and drawers and hardware. I even cleaned up the old hardware and reused it. And our joke became that we were waiting for a buggy from
To come and
with the island, yeah. But when it got here and they had done such a good job to match old cabinets, they're very talented woodworking
mm-hmm,
people. And so
mm-hmm.
that's been many years ago, and that's one of the things I'd like to do is just repaint. It needs a good coat of paint.
Okay.
A
Yeah,
lot of
because
people paint the cabinets, but I'm not. I have stripped paint off of so much wood in my life. I just can't bring myself to paint wood.
I've been watching this lady do woodworking. Like she'll get like the stuff off the street and she will like
Oh yeah, strip.
refurbish the
Yes,
reclaim furniture's project.
yes,
So there's this um oil thing. I don't know what it is, but you put it on the wood and you let it soak up, and then you can literally just rub it, and the whole like lacquer thing off
yeah,
the wood comes off. And then you go in there with the little wood buffer thingy
yeah,
and do that. And then you can get like the spray, but I know like they probably have like a little spray thing. It's probably like $300, but
Yeah.
anyways, you do the spray and you could spray it whatever color that you want. It doesn't have to be wood,
Yeah.
and it looks so good. I love it. It's like those are the projects I love. Like
And the other thing, someone, either her or someone similar, they use that chalk paint, and that's a really cool finish too.
you can buy that. I've seen that. You can buy that in the like wherever like Lowe's or Home Depot. It
Yeah,
comes in a spray can, and you can just and get that same effect
it's neat.
because yeah, I have a reclaimed furniture. It was in North Carolina where this guy had a furniture outlet, and I asked him, I said, well, what is this? He said, oh, it's like a wood chalk like paint. I said, well, how do you do that? Oh, you just spray it on. I said, what? So like that's what he did, and he made that the furniture look really good.
Yeah,
So yeah, you just need if you want to test like a 2x4, just to kind of
right,
like
right.
how it would go, then you can do that. But yeah, they have like the teal colors and the green and some other like white, like off white or something.
So when I was married, my ex-husband and I bought this little house. It had been built like in the 40s. This would have been, we were in the 80s. And it was really nice trim and woodwork inside, like French doors going to the porch. The kitchen cabinets were the ones with the window panes in it, and somebody had put contact paper on them.
Mm-hmm.
And we stripped like 8 or 9 layers of paint from the baseboards, the doors, the trim. It took almost a year, right?
A
I think,
year? What?
well, we did the whole house. We did,
Oh, okay. I like
yeah.
not just like the stripping of.
We stripped all the wood, we stained it to get back to this like pretty blonde wood. And so I'd come home from work and I'd start scraping and stripping, you know, watch TV, scrape and strip. We just lived amongst scraping. So one time I came home and he had the weirdest look on his face, and I was looking around like something's not right. Well, when I my eye caught the wall and it had char mark on it. He had been stripping because that liquid that you use is very flammable. He had been stripping around an electrical outlet and it caught fire. The stripper liquid in his friction of moving it, and it charred the wall. And so when I saw this thing and I was like, what happened? He said, yeah, the rag caught fire and it charred the wall. And so you got to be careful with that stuff.
He
We
had an
stripped all of
event.
the contact paper off of the kitchen cabinets,
Mm-hmm.
and did oh, they were horrible countertops. They were the original, like Formica with the metal stripping. And so we went in with the little mosaic inch by inch ceramic tiles. And that was another hard job, putting those down and grouting them, because you grout it and you let it sit. And then you have to go back and you have to clean the grout. That's some hard work. And we took 3 years. It took 3 years to do this whole house and the yard. That's all we worked on. Every weekend we went to some hardware store or something.
Mm.
And after we finished that house, we were like different people. We had nothing in common. We had kind of come together to renovate this house, and then we were done. It was weird.
You strip that house down to the bare, and then like
Yeah, it was a cute little house.
you call it the project.
It was, yes. It wasn't turpentine. It was actually, it's called Strip Ease. It's a gel, and it's a
Hmm.
combination of chemicals. I don't know, but I know there was like 8 or 9 layers of paint, every color, you know.
Hmm.
And so anyway, we always just liked the natural wood. Yep, 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 yep. I used to be a hardcore do-it-yourselfer.
Well, I see. I've never done any of that. I would love to do stuff like that.
We'll just pick you up a Goodwill per piece of furniture and um,
Experiment.
yeah, start with something small. And I remember picking up a cabinet at a yard sale one time. It was a small table with a door, and I picked it up for like $5. And it was like one of my first projects. I brought home and stripped it and refinished it. I was around that all my life. My dad would refinish antiques, reupholster stuff. That was his thing.
Oh, then you grew up with stuff like
I did.
that.
I did. He was always
Oh,
banging out a wall or putting in a sidewalk. Just, I just have been around it all my life and always really enjoyed it, you know. And now, uh, I don't know. You have to kind of pick and choose because everything, like lumber, I had this retaining wall out by the road, and they are 6 by 6, 8 or 12 foot long things, and the top layer of them was rotted. And I had a guy come and he says, "Well, there's no reason to replace these. The whole thing's probably rotted. You should replace the whole wall." And that was like $5,000. I was like, "No, that's not going to happen. I just want cosmetically to replace the ones that are visibly rotted, you know." So the guy next door was looking for some work, and I said, "Well, can you help me replace?" It was like 4 boards. Each board was $53. So I mean, it's like the materials cost to do things. It's not. It doesn't feel like it's as cheap as it used to be. Like a gallon of paint is not as cheap as it used to be.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
my most recent thing, I'm going to try to finish it this week. I picked up from a yard sale this birdhouse thing. So it's on a board and like a decorative pole. This is all wood, and on top is this bird feeder thing. It's open sided, but the roof is like shingled copper. And it
Hmm.
was kind of in pieces and parts, like it had broken and it just kind of needed to be put back together. And the platform it was on was rotted. So I got one of those cut and painted, and slowly but surely I've been like getting all the pieces back together. It's finally together. Okay, it's finally together. I put
Mm-hmm.
one coat of paint on it. It needs more, but that thing has been in my shed broken. I know 10 years, and I finally. When did I start? I started in the spring, getting it out and seeing what it needed and what I needed to do. And so that's one of my projects this week is to finish it and actually put it out in the yard where I want it to be to put bird feed in and stuff.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tinker, you just find something you want to tinker with and so
Yeah, I just don't have time. I want to, but I don't have time. Oh, if I do have time, because if I get into it and I like it, I'm the type of person who will just keep going. And yeah, so
all right. Well, I think we've said all we can say, and I hope everyone has a great week. I know I've got
yes,
some days off. I'm looking forward to that. And we'll reconvene on the solar eclipse on the 21st.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I thank y'all for your attention, and just keep it between the lines is all I can tell you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you, and we will see you on the 21st.
All righty. Have a good week.
Okay. You too.
Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye. All right, guys. I will see you guys in a few days. All right. Bye.